Hello everyone. Today we will discuss in detail the topic 9 sentence patterns. As we all know that whatever we speak, that merely string around words in a random fashion you may see. So the way we arrange these words, the most part is unconsciously or consciously arranged into different patterns. What are these sentence patterns in English? As we use 9 basic sentence patterns, and today purposefully we will examine these basic sentence patterns of English so that we may be aware what are these sentence patterns that we generally discuss, and how do we frame them, and in what way we generally use these patterns. Each and every detailing we will proceed in today's session as far as the 9 basic sentence patterns are concerned. So today we will learn about sentence patterns in English. We use subject verb, sometimes subject verb object, subject verb adjective, subject verb adverb, and in this way we frame at least 9 sentence patterns, and whatever we speak, we hover around all these sentence patterns that we will study in detail today. We can say that these basic sentence patterns are in such a manner, such as we can say that subject plus verb, subject verb object, subject verb indirect object, sometime even the direct object is also associated with it. Subject verb object complement is also one pattern, and you can see that these are all the patterns whatever we speak in our day-to-day life, we use all these sentence pattern. First of all, pattern number 1, noun plus be form plus adjective. So we can see the example, food is good. If we are saying like this, that first of all there is a noun, after that be form of the verb, and then we are using this first sentence pattern. Out of these 9 basic sentence patterns, the subject always occurs in the first 9 position, first noun position. In pattern 1, grammatical meaning of subject is that which is described. Here the meaning of the verb is may be described as, and the third term must be adjective or adjectival. So it may be are, was, were, am. These are the be form of the verb that we can see. Here we can see some examples are also provided. My mother is kind. Her brother was hungry. That means Ali is smart. So at first place you can see noun, after that be form of the verb, and then there is objective everywhere. Poisonous, the food is poisonous. So poisonous is an adjective, large is adjective, kind is adjective, smart is adjective, hungry adjective. And we can see the noun, that food, the box, my mother, Ali, and here her brother. So these are all the noun, adjective, and the be form in all the sentences is, and at last was. So you can see this in this pattern number 1, this structure we usually follow. From now onwards, when you speak, even you can introspect or assess in detail that which pattern you are using. Once if you see the whole session today, and you'll get an idea that which pattern you are using at that particular moment. If there is any error that you are committing in preparing that particular sentence, then you can move back to these patterns and you can see that, okay, I haven't used any pattern out of these, or I am missing this thing in this sentence. That's why my sentence is not correct. So pattern number 2 is noun, be form of the verb, and adverb. So you can see the example is the girl is be form of the verb and here is adverb. So you can see this pattern if we are proceeding, we use certain specific words here. They are known as the adverbial words. So we will study them in detail and we can introspect, we can directly assess them so that we can identify that this is the pattern number 2 that we are using right now. Pattern number 2 differs from the pattern number 1 because here in place of the adjective we are using adverb. The third position is occupied by the adverbial. Words of this type include here there are up, there, up, down, in, out, inside, outside, upstairs, downstairs, on, off, now, then, tomorrow, yesterday, over, through, above, below, before, and after. So these are all the words that are usually used in these sentences, this sentence pattern, and we can even see the example also here where in this sentence the noun is placed in the beginning. The picnic is noun and they and the appointment and the jaunt is also noun, and after that you can see the be form of the verb was, is, are, and is. So at last you can see the adverb is outside, here, lawn, now. So if we are using these words in this pattern, then we are using the pattern number 2. After that we will be discussing the pattern number 3, which is followed in this manner, that noun, be form of the verb, and noun. So if we are using a sentence in this manner, then we are using this pattern number 3. Example for pattern number 3 is my mother is a doctor. So you can see at first place my mother is a noun. After that is a be form of the verb and a doctor is a again noun. So you can see noun, noun, and in between be form of the verb. So the superscript after the second n means that the noun has the same referent as n. So that means here in the upcoming slides, you may also observe noun number 1, noun number 2 or something like that. So here you'll see that in pattern number 3, it is only at both the places noun number 1. So the subject has grammatical meaning of that which is identified, and the second noun and 1 means grammatically that which identifies the subject, and that is called the subjective complement. So personal pronouns also occupy these positions. We can see here that is she. So here you can see noun, be form of the verb noun. It is me, it's me, it was they, so this is mine. So even the possessive pronouns are also, and so even the personal pronouns are also available here in all these sentences. As he was an instructor, they are my friends. So you can see in the beginning and at the last, both the places, noun is used, and in between be form of the verb. Later, we will observe the pattern of pattern number 4, which says that noun, linking verb, and adjective. So in each slide, you may be aware or you may be observing the detail about different things such as what is noun, what is adverb, what is adjective, and now in this slide, what is a linking verb. The acrobat seems young. So here you can see in the pattern number 4, the verb is called a linking verb as it links the adjective with the subject. So that's why it is linking verb here. So in any verb except be that may be substituted for seems in this frame is a linking verb. So we are not using be form of the verb in place of that. We are using linking verb. Even we can observe some more examples such as the cyclist. So the cyclist is noun, appears is here linking verb, and weary is adjective. In the second sentence also, the physicist is noun, grew, verb, linking verb, and sleepy, adjective. The milk, noun, remained, linking verb, sweet, here, adjective. You look sharp today. So here you is noun, look as here, linking verb, which is linking adjective. The adjective here is sharp. So even one more sentence we can see, the dogs, again noun, smell, linking verb, and bad is adjective. So some of the common linking verbs are seem, appear, remain, taste, look, become, grow, get, sound, smell, continue, go, feel, etc. So a linking verb may be preceded by an auxiliary as well. So you can see the example, the party may become lively. Like this, you can see we can frame this pattern number 4, and after that the pattern number 5, it says that noun number 1, again linking verb and noun number 1. So my sister remained an outstanding student. That means noun number 1 is my sister. Remained is here linking verb that we had already discussed in the previous slide. And after that again the noun number 1. That means outstanding student is my sister only. So we can say that outstanding student means my sister. Noun number 1 in the first place, and after that linking verb also we can see noun number 1. Even you can see some more examples such as my mother becomes a doctor. That means who is becoming a doctor? My mother. Noun number 1 is my mother, and a doctor is also my mother. And in between that becomes is a linking verb. In the next sentence you can see that we shall continue the discussion tomorrow. Now what are we continuing? The discussion. So in this case you can see that we are referring to the noun number 1, and Donald continued my friend despite our differences. Now what is the difference that we may have created here in these two sentences? You can see that the two superscripts show that both the nouns have the same referent. On the other hand, the verb which links student and sister is a linking verb. And the number of linking verbs that may occupy the verbal position in the pattern is very small. So all these remain, become, appear, seem, continue, stay, make. This is the pattern that we usually follow. All right. Now in the pattern number 6, let's discuss that what is the difference. Noun is coming. Till now we have seen, we have observed, we have assessed that noun is at least coming in all the sentences. Now let's see what are the other words, what are the other elements that are repeated again and again in all patterns. Now after that, intransitive verb. Till now we have learned auxiliary, linking verb, be form of the verb, and the simple verb. Now what is intransitive verb? The verb in the pattern number 6 is called intransitive verb. We will observe this verb. It is intransitive verb. It is self-sufficient. After this verb, if there is no other part of the sentence, even then the sentence is complete. It can stand alone with its subject only, such as girls smile. So you can see only these two words are completing and they are becoming a sentence. So if girls smile, after that we are not putting any part of a sentence, or if the part of sentence is not at all required, then we can say that it is an intransitive verb. Furthermore, some examples can be observed, such as the sportsmen were fishing. So, if you are in doubt whether a word following the verb is modifier that goes with an intransitive verb or a completer of a transitive verb, a substitution can settle the matter. How can you identify? Uh, in the beginning only I said that we will use only noun and intransitive verb. After that, we are not going to use anything because it is self-sufficient. Then you may be thinking that if there is something else which is coming after it, then what shall we do? So if you can substitute it by him, her, it, them, the word is a completer and the verb is not an intransitive verb, such as the sportsman fished. The sportsmen were fishing. He hammered fast. He hammered the nail. Now you can see the difference. He hammered fast. It is complete in its sense, and we cannot substitute fast by him, her, it, them. But he hammered the nail. We can write that he hammered it in place of the nail. If we can substitute the verb with something else, then it is a transitive verb. Otherwise, it is an intransitive verb. So you can see in the first sentence, you cannot substitute it without spoiling the structure or the meaning of the sentence. But in the second, the hammered, it is suitable and equivalent for, and he hammered the nail can be substituted. So therefore, the first hammered is intransitive and the second one is transitive. I hope it is little bit clear to you all. As it is little bit complicated, the pattern number 6. After that comes the pattern number 7. Noun 1, transitive verb and noun 2. You may be thinking, what is noun 1 and what is noun 2? That means, what is the noun 1? It is not related to noun 2. Noun 1 is someone else and noun 2 is someone else or something else. We can observe example, the girl bought a dress. If we are saying so, then the girl is a noun. A dress is another noun. A dress is not the girl. So this is noun number 1, this is noun number 2. And in between there is a transitive verb. We had assessed, we had discussed the transitive and intransitive word in the previous slide also. So in pattern number 7, the verb is completed by a noun or even sometimes by a pronoun, for which one can substitute him, her, it or them. It can, if we can use these words, this noun as shows by superscript 2 does not have the same referent as the subject. This thing we discussed in the previous slide also. So it is called the direct object of the verb and has the grammatical meaning of undergoer of the action or that is affected by the verb. We can say, for example, if we see that someone cleans the palace, that means someone is different. Cleans is transitive verb, the palace. Someone cleans it. We can use it like this. The waitress poured the tea. So the waitress is noun number 1, the tea is noun number 2, and the poured is transitive verb. So in this way, we can see the driver turned the car around. So we can see the driver is noun number 1 and turned transitive verb, the car. The car is not driver, that's why it is noun number 2. So I hope you could understand. You can understand the pattern number 7. After that, in pattern number 8, noun number 1, you can see here, there are 3 types of noun that we are using in this pattern. It is a little bit complicated. After noun number 1, we are using the transitive verb. We had already differentiated transitive and intransitive verb. After that, the noun number 2 and noun number 3. That means these three nouns are totally different from one another. They have no common thing, or noun number 1 is not at all noun number 3. Even one example can show the differentiation that I am saying to you all. The mother, noun number 1. Bought, transitive verb. We had discussed two types of verb right now, transitive and intransitive. So here I am saying it is a transitive verb, and after that the girl. So the mother, noun number 1. The girl is another noun. Girl is not mother. After that, a dress is also neither girl nor mother. So that's why it is noun number 3. So you can see these specifications through these examples in this pattern. These are the things that are to be observed extensively. That noun number 1, 2 and 3 indicate that each noun has a different referent. Mother, girl and a dress. They are not one and the same. So these three nouns are three separate entities. I hope it is clear to you all. We see two grammatical objects after the verb bought. So after the verb bought, two grammatical objects are available. These two objects are called in order the indirect and direct object. So you can see there is one direct object, there is one indirect object. If we omit the first one, the pattern becomes number 7 that we discussed in the previous slide. And dress is seen to be the direct object. But because we are using direct and indirect object both, that's why it is pattern number 8. So the verb that can be used in pattern number 8 are restricted. You can see here some verbs, and we can practice making certain sentences using these verbs, such as some of the common ones are give, make, find, tell, buy, write, send, ask, play, build, teach, assign, feed, offer, throw, hand, pass, sell, pay. These are the verbs usually used in pattern number 8. After that, the last, still we are continuing with the pattern number 8. It is little bit complicated. Let's see and observe some examples also, so that it can become clear to you all. The first example is the girl was bought a dress by her mother. If we can change this sentence in this manner, the pattern number 8 is transformed into passive by making either the direct or the indirect object the subject of the passive verb. So we can make the passive form by using it or making it two ways, such as we can make the passive by using the girl also and using a dress also. These are the two objects, and we can use in any object and we can frame a sentence. Then it is a pattern number 8. In some case, however, the passive transform does not sound fully natural and seems to demand a preposition after it. So you can see here, a rifle was found the recruit. So if it is like that, the sergeant found the recruit a rifle. So in this case, you need a preposition before the noun. The grammatical meaning of the indirect object is beneficiary of the action of the verb plus direct object. So some specifications are discussed in the pattern number 8. First, we need to be aware if you wish to know about direct object, indirect object, linking verb, and these basic things, then you can refer to the another video in which all these things are discussed. She told the student a ticket. She sold the student a ticket. So you can see noun number 1 is she, and sold is transitive verb. After that, the student is noun number 2 and ticket is noun number 3. So there is no connection between these three, among these three nouns. She, the student, a ticket. He played, he is noun number 1. Played is transitive verb. Me, a game of chess. So you can see one is direct object, another is indirect object. So we have to practice all these patterns. Last pattern is pattern number 9. As it is pattern number 9, so there are more complications and specifications that we will discuss because it contains a choice of 8 different forms in the final positions. These are illustrated here in these examples because there are 8 different forms in this sentence. So we have placed 8 sentences here which project these differences. First, in each sentence you will find noun number 1. The basketball, he, I, we, we and we. So you can see noun is available in all these sentences, and after that we are placing transitive verb. The transitive verb is chose, considered, thought, supposed, imagined, believed. Again you can see considered, thought. So these are some verbs. They are called transitive verbs and they are used here. And after that we are using noun number 2, that is full and final. There is no confusion. The basketball is not John, that's why John is noun number 2. And he and her, here is it is noun number 2. So you can see in all these sentences after transitive verb there is noun number 2, the caller, him, her, and Kim. These are all the transitive verbs. These are all the noun number 2 after the transitive verb. After that you need to add plus one more thing. They are called here 8 different forms. In first pattern we will use noun number 2. In second pattern, we will use the adjective. I have written everything here. You can refer to these. Adjective is brilliant. In third, you can see pronoun. In fourth, you can see adjective of place, upstairs. Adjective of place. After that, in E, you can see the present participle, eating. After that, prepositional phrase, you can see prior to that you can see verb and past participle. So in this you can see past participle. After that in this sentence you can see prepositional phrase in the way, and in last sentence you can see inflectional phrase with be. So we bought Kim to be a fine player. So this is a inflectional phrase that we have used here. And after that, in the pattern number 9, we can see here some examples also, because it is a predecessor of the pattern number 8. Pattern number 8 has 2 objects following the verb, but it differs from pattern number 8 in 3 respects. You can see Number one is in the order of object, and direct object comes first. In some sentences, if we eliminate the second object, we are left with pattern number 7. So you can see if you reduce something, you'll move back to those patterns that we had discussed in the previous slide. Pattern 6, pattern 7, pattern 8, like that, which contains only direct object after the verb. The basketball team chose John. The second object is called the objective complement because it completes the direct object. Number 2, there are 3 differences, and number 2 is pattern 9. Both objects have the same referent. That is, both John and Captain refers to the same person. You can see in the sentence, Captain and John is the same person, and only the first object, the direct object, can be made the subject of the passive verb. So we can transform he pattern sentence into John was chosen captain. So if we can change it in this manner, so this is the pattern number 9, and we conclude, then we can see that we are familiar with all these basic sentence patterns, although we may not have introspected or assessed them in that minute manner that we had discussed it today. We can learn how to combine them to create more complex, unique sentences easily. Now you can, I hope, identify at least the subject, verb, clauses, the connectors. So you can analyze your writing style. Along with that, you can improve it by using variety of sentences. So today we have discussed about these 9 patterns. In the upcoming session, we will discuss in detail and extensively practice these patterns. Along with that, we will frame certain sentences, certain new sentences by making complex, simple, compound sentences so that you can be more comfortable in framing these patterns. So by viewing this video, I hope you all are aware of the patterns at least. You may not be able to frame these types of patterns, yet you can at least identify the patterns that you are using in your day-to-day life. So these are all the patterns on which our conversation is based, and in detail we will discuss these patterns in the upcoming session.